All right, it's the end of the day and I didn't film anything at all. So camera has been in my office all day. So sorry about that. Taylor got my e-brake stuff mounted up. The seat's all mounted in the car. The little e-brake bracket for the hydro. This gets mounted like here. So you can kind of get an idea of how that's gonna go. Just like a little bracket that's, you know, kind of puts the e-brake at an angle. So when I pull it, I'll like be able to pull it like towards myself, which I kind of want. But yeah, I'm able to keep the factory e-brake here because it works good. And when I want to park the car, I can just pull the e-brake. This is a little fire, what do you call it? Shift boot, like a, whatever, an SFI fireproof shift boot. So this goes here. So that's good and done. I've been pulling apart all the rear suspension stuff. So the rear subframe has been out of the car, cleaned up and painted. I have all the bushings and everything. So there's like DTSS eliminators, which are in here. These are all the parts from Part Shop Max. So these are like some camber links. There's a whole bunch of bushings that are for like in here, and then the rear, I guess you'd call them rear control arms, I think. I think that's what they're called. They're in the paint booth. I'll show you what they look like right now. Yeah, so all the arms, the rear stuff, it was just all crusty and old, so I media blasted everything, and these are them. So the hard thing is you have to push out, you know, I'll get rid of all the factory bushings and stuff. They all need to be pressed out, which is kind of a pain in the butt. And then I media blasted everything and sprayed them with Steel-It. Steel-It is a coating that I use pretty much, I don't know, exclusively now. I used to powder coat everything, and since I found out about Steel-It, I haven't really powder coated much of anything. You can get it in gallons or you can get it in spray cans. As long as it's like media blasted, you can go direct to metal. It has like a really, I talked to the owner actually at Formula Drift in New Jersey, and he was saying that, you know, I was just asking about corrosion resistance and stuff like that, because that's everyone's big thing. They're all like, oh, well, you know, what about corrosion resistance? So I found out from him that like NASA and SpaceX both use Steel-It to coat fuel lines like on rockets. So if the corrosion resistance is good enough for rockets that are going into space, I think that some old car parts are gonna do just fine as far as not having any corrosion on them. So that's what's going on with the rear, I guess rear control arms or rear hubs, because like the wheel bearing goes into here and the hub comes through, or actually the other way. So the wheel bearing comes in and the hub's through in the rear axle. This is just a little simple bracket for the e-brake. I don't want to touch it because it's probably still wet, but yeah, so this gets mounted to the trans tunnel, and then there's a nutsert there and a factory bolt hole there, which is for the hydro e-brake. So that's all set. So as soon as this stuff is dry, I'm going to be able to put all the new Part Shop Max bushing stuff. It's all like solid bushings, like all aluminum. Yeah, I'm gonna put all that stuff in, and then I can put the whole different rear end or rear diff and everything back in the car. What's in the car now is a factory non-turbo rear. So my car was not a turbo. It was like a GLX or something like that, or GXL or something. So since it wasn't a turbo, it had, I guess the axles are a little bit smaller and the whole housing is a little bit smaller. So that was what was in the car since, you know, before I did what I'm doing now. And it was a welded diff and it worked fine. But everybody said with that power, it's gonna blow apart that rear that's in it. So what I have is, this is a Turbo 2 rear. I guess they're physically larger, and I think what I'm told is the axles are also bigger. So that's what's going in it. And then I should be pretty much good to go. I have the drive shaft already, so once the rear suspension all goes in, I can put the drive shaft in the car, and technically I have a movable running driving car. Still needs to get tuned. There's other things I still need to like mount the dash, whatever I'm gonna do for gauges, run wiring for like the lights and stuff like that. Other than that, the car is like ready to go. It's been like forever, but I haven't really worked on it that much. I always say, oh, I'm gonna work on my car. Every day I say, when I get a minute, I'm gonna work on my car. And then I never ever get a minute. Like as soon as I get here, you know, I have intentions to like go in my office and do, you know, 20 minutes worth of work and then come out in the shop. And then what happens is that 20 minutes worth of work turns into like the whole day. And all of a sudden it's like, you know, everybody's like ready to leave for lunch and I still haven't even been in the shop, kind of a thing. So go to lunch and then, you know, get back to the shop, and then there's something else that I need to do, whether it's like order parts or, you know, just talk to different customers or whatever about where we're at with their projects, or just walk around and like take pictures so I can text all of our customers like where we're at with, you know, in different stages of their particular project. So that's like what my day turns out like almost every day. And literally every day I say, I'm gonna go to the shop and I'm gonna work on my car all day. And that never happens, which is why it's taken as long as it has. But I'm really looking forward to the fact that it's like getting really close. It does run, you know, all the fuel system's done. Electric power steering stuff is done. What else? Brakes. I guess the brakes are done. We just have to like hook up the brake lines. I haven't like, there's a new master cylinder in it, and then, you know, all the factory brakes are in the car. Angle kit is the same angle kit from when I first, you know, modified the knuckles, so that should be plenty good. I think that's kind of it, you know. Like there's some small stuff. I gotta do like a battery, some kind of battery box for it. But yeah, I mean, it's getting close, and I can't wait to drift. I like miss drifting so much. If there's anything, like I am into all types of different, you know, car racing type motorsport stuff. I'm into like traditional cars, like cars from the 20s and 30s, like how they were built like in the late 40s, early 50s. Like that's something I really like. You know, I have my 911, which I go do track stuff with that, and that's really fun. This year I haven't even been to the track once. It's like, I feel like awful even saying that, because I literally bought that car with the intention of making it just like a track car. I mean, I very rarely drive it on the street. It's cool, I should drive it on the street, but every day I get in my pickup truck just because it's easy. So I don't know. So I have my Porsche, I have my Race a Gentleman car, so like we're getting that car all ready for Race a Gentleman, which is gonna be coming up here in October. Actually, in 2 weeks, the car is going to Speed Week at Bonneville. So it's going to Utah, and then from there it's going to go to there's an event that Rolling Bones do or at El Mirage, which is a dry lake in California. So Al is taking like his family on like a family vacation, and Al was like, I want to take the Race a Gentleman car, and maybe, you know, Ryan will drive it or whatever. So the car won't pass tech at Bonneville. Like we can't go land speed racing with it. There's like barely any kind of roll cage in it. So like to run at Bonneville, it has to have like a crazy cage and fire suppression and like all this stuff. You know, my Race a Gentleman car is like, you know, it's basically put together like it would have been put together in the 40s as far as like safety stuff goes. So, you know, I think it's safe, but it's not safe enough to go land speed racing with. But anyways, so after it's gonna go to Salt Lake City, and it's kind of just, Al's just gonna like bring it out on the salt and put it around or whatever. And then after that, Rolling Bones do this event at El Mirage. So there they'll be able to like race at El Mirage and hopefully have some fun with it and beat everybody that goes to that, because it will, because it's amazing. I have a new sponsorship that I'm working out right now with anti-gravity batteries, which is exciting. That's like, you know, I've used anti-gravity batteries in pretty much all of our stuff, and it's just exciting that, you know, now they're coming on board like as like a sponsor for the Race a Gentleman car, which is really awesome. This will also probably get, oh Jesus, I'm falling over stuff. But so this will get an anti-gravity battery also. I recommend, if you don't know about anti-gravity batteries, check them out because they're amazing. They weigh like 6 pounds. They have all kinds of really cool features. Like, you know, I mean, for the Race Gentleman car, there's no charging system in it. So basically, I need the battery to like turn the starter over to start the car. It has a magneto, so it doesn't need 12 volts to run, but there's an electric water pump which needs, so we're putting 2 batteries in the car, and the one battery is gonna be for just running the electric water pump to kind of act as like a cooling system, because you know, that's the only way to make water go through the radiator, because there's no water pumps on it. So anyways, but yeah, back to the drift car. I think all the charge pipes are together, done, clamped on. These are, you know, good to go. Oil return from the turbo is all done and heat wrapped. Taylor did that this morning. Boost controller is in and wired. I need to just get like a little filter thing that threads on there, because this is just open to atmosphere, but since it's open, I don't want to have it like open for any crap to maybe get in there. Turbo guard's in. I'm not stoked on running just a turbo guard. I would like to have some kind of filter on it, but there's no room. So this is what it's getting. Like I said, electric power steering is all in and plumbed and, you know, and good. I haven't put fluid in it yet, so I'm not sure. I mean, it's wired, and like, you know, when you turn the key with it plugged in, that thing turns on. So that's great, but I still haven't like bled the system and made it work properly. What else? I think, you know, let's see, where are we at on our list? Need a coolant overflow, clutch lines. I'm waiting on a fitting to go into the T56 transmission. They have this weird like push lock fitting that's like a factory fitting, and it's just gonna go to like -4 AN line and then go to the clutch master cylinder. But to this line here, but there's nothing for that line to plug into because it takes this like push lock thing. So I'm just waiting on that. Hopefully Monday or Tuesday I'll have that. So yeah, hopefully Monday or Tuesday, literally I'll be able to like drive this thing in the parking lot. Still needs to be tuned. That shouldn't be a huge deal. I have some friends that are great tuners. So I don't know, stoked on my VSS SDs. I think it's funny, these wheels aren't like, I think they only look good on FCs. They're like one of my favorite wheels on these cars, but every time I see them on anything else, it's like, oh, those are kind of ugly. But I think they just work really good on this car. So I still got to figure out what I'm going to do for like over fenders, because this works and doesn't rub, and it's like almost perfect fitment. This is a 17. I'm probably going to go up to an 18. So these are, what are these things? I don't even know. I can't remember. Yeah, so these are super narrow. These are only 235s. There's no way I can run a 235 with this motor and turbo setup. So I'll probably run like 265s or something like that. So if I do that, I'm obviously not gonna have as much stretch on the tire, so it's gonna be a lot more square, so that's obviously, the tire's gonna be outside of the quarter. So I'm gonna have to do some kind of just get some over fenders for it. Same with the front. Like with the front, it fits, but I am gonna have to space them out more just so I can maximize steering angle. Where it's at now, the inner barrel of the wheel hits the lower control arm. You can see that. So I just have to pop that off and weld it up because it's almost like worn through. So anyways, that's that. That's where I'm at with my RX-7. Gosh, I want to get it done. Like I'm just looking forward to it, because drifting is more fun than any of the other stuff that I do as far as racing cars. It's more like skateboarding, where it's just you're having fun with your friends. I feel like going to do track days, it's this like, I don't know, it's like this big dick competition of like, well, what was your lap times? And it's like, you know, oh, well, if you weren't, you know, it's like you're only cool if you're like running certain lap times. It's like some jock shit, but whatever. I think, and then drag racing is even worse. It's like, you know, it's all about just like whose car is the fastest. Where like drifting, it doesn't matter. You're just having fun. And, you know, there's dudes that have cars that are pieces of junk. And if they're good drivers, they get some street cred. And it doesn't matter about their car. It doesn't matter how much money they have. It doesn't matter. It just matters about like, you know, how good of a driver you are and how much fun you can have driving with other people. That's what matters, and just being cool. So that's like why I think drifting is such a neat thing, because at least on like a grassroots level, it's more about having fun. I mean, like anything else, there's competition, and you know, I watch Formula Drift and I watch all the different, you know, clutch kickers and all of like the drift competition stuff, and I'm into it. It's awesome. Like some of my great friends are like, you know, top drivers, and I'm stoked for them. You know, is that something I want to do? I guess in my head, yeah, but you know, I feel like it's I have a business to run here, and it would take a lot of seat time, which I don't have time for. So yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna enjoy drifting and having fun with my friends, you know, the dudes that work here and everybody else that I'm friends with that drifts, because that's what it's all about, is having fun. And drifting is certainly, you know, the most fun with cars you can possibly have. So anyways, if you've never been in a drift car, go to an event. Everybody, you know, I'm sure you'll be able to like get a ride along with somebody. Just ask them, say, hey, I've never been in a drift car. Is it possible I can maybe go for a ride with you? And I guarantee you, somebody will say, jump in. Here, you know, you got a helmet? Jump in. And as soon as you do a lap with somebody that can drive, you're gonna be like hooked, because that's how awesome it is. It's like nothing else. So I think that's pretty much it. So like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Later.